Hey everybody, this is Freddy at 5280scuba.com. So, you ordered the perfect suit, shows up in the mail, rip open that box like Christmas morning. How do you know if it's going to fit just right? We'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, so you've ordered your suit, it comes in the mail. We as retailers online, we have a little bit of a challenge with people's expectations of what they think a suit is going to fit like when they get it. Oftentimes they send back a suit thinking it's a little too snug, when in reality it might even be a little too big. Oftentimes in our showroom, when people come out of the dressing room, they're wearing a suit and they're like, oh man, this thing's really tight. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, you know, actually that's a little too big. So hence the joke, if you can still breathe, it's not tight enough. So how is it supposed to fit? And when you get it in the mail and you unpack it and you put it on for the first time, first of all, we're going to show you how to put it on properly, because it's kind of humorous on a boat. You see everybody putting on a wetsuit very differently, and that can actually help the experience, or maybe it might even hurt the experience depending on how much labor and how much effort it is for you to put it on. I want to say the first thing that a lot of people ask us about is, what do you wear underneath your suit? Well, you're going to be on a boat or a dive beach or something with other people. It's not proper really to be naked underneath, because you might have to peel your suit off, that sort of thing. So you want to wear something that's not going to bunch up. So like guys in big long board shorts, that'll just bunch up and it'll be uncomfortable to wear for an hour or so. Something slippery can really help. They make dive socks that are poly socks. You put them on your feet, and when they just slide right through the wetsuit like butter. Rash guards, very popular in the dive world because they're a little bit slippery. They should have a thumb hole or a thumb loop, and or you can hang on to it and you can slide it right through the sleeve. Helps it go through because it's a little bit slippery. That being said, a lot of wetsuits are made differently. Some have a nice soft plush lining. Monsters. Some have a nice plush soft lining and they go on and they slide on real easy. Some are a little more grippy rubber and you're just going to sit there and fight it. So with the suit underneath, something not bulky, how's it supposed to actually fit you when you get it on? Every body is different. So some people are an apple, some people are a pear. Some people are a little more curvy than others. Some people might be bodybuilders, big on the top, really tight waist. So the suit you order and the suit you buy is going to make a big difference. You might look at our other video on how to properly size and order the wetsuit online so that when you get it, it's the right one for you. It's not as difficult as you might think. Another question we get asked a lot is, does the zipper go in the front and the back? I can't tell you how many people have come out the dressing room with the suit on backwards. In reality, the truth is there's two different kinds of suits out there. There are ones with zippers in the front. For the most part these days, those are for surface sports like paddleboarding, kayaking, surfing, that kind of a thing. And then there's the zipper in the back. And for the most part, most suits, the zipper in the back for scuba diving. And part of the reason for that is the zipper in the back is a little more warm for scuba diving, because when you're wearing the suit, you have a spine pad that the zipper is over. So when you bend, you actually tighten the seal between the zipper and that spine pad, and you stretch it out a little bit, thus, you know, stopping water from coming in the suit that way. Whereas if the zipper is in the front, when you bend, you actually loosen that, and it allows the suit to flush with more water. Okay, so to show you how to properly wear a suit or put a suit on, I'm going to need a suit. Okay. We have a suit elf. Suit assistant. Okay, so how do you start? Well, you don't do it standing up. That's what my staff wanted to do, to show you what happens and get some more blooper footage. But you need to find a good place to sit down on the boat. They have lots of benches and things like that. So you put one leg in at a time. You don't try to go too far. I call it the snap. You kind of grab it down just above the knee and you just pull with a good tug. Okay? If you had the poly socks on, that would have been even easier. Second leg, little tug, kind of a snap. Get the knee pads in the proper location. The ankles should be high up on the ankle. It should not be including the heel or the foot, something like that. So you can see that they're on right. And then when you stand up, grab the side of the suit down a little bit and just start massaging it, pulling it up, okay? till you get it up around your waist. Now, men and women are a little different from this point up, so we're going to ask for a wonderful assistant to come and help us demonstrate. This is Reese, and she's going to demonstrate putting the wetsuit on from the waist up because I have a whole bunch of recorders and stuff in my pockets. Okay? So what you want to do from the waist up, a lot of people make a mistake here. They try to go too fast, too much at a time. They'll put both arms in, and then they'll try to pull up and get it around their shoulders, and it kind of binds them up and things like that. When in reality, especially for ladies, you want to pull the waist up as high as you possibly can before you start with the arms. And again, I said with a rash guard or something slippery, it's going to make the process easier. You're going to want to hold the cuff or get one with a thumb loop, and then slide one arm at a time. You'll notice Reese, when she pops it up, she kind of stretches her arm high and kind of over. That's going to help slide it right down on the arms. Okay, now that you've got it nice and up around the shoulders and you feel like it's on all the way, you're going the wrong way. You might have somebody help you zip it up. You want to take it nice and to the top. Attach the Velcro according to whatever's comfortable. And then you're going to worry about like your booties or your gloves if you're going to be wearing those. We'll talk a little bit about how thick a suit should be for whatever temperature. This suit is a little tougher to put on because this is a Reese's 5 mil, so it's an extra thick wetsuit for a little colder water. And so it's a little more difficult to get on. 7 mil is even harder then again. Okay, so depending on where you're going to be diving, what the conditions are, you can determine how thin or thick the suit is. If the suit has cuffs or zippers, what I do when I determine if a suit is going to fit properly is I'm going to stick my finger under the cuff and I'm going to run it around just a little bit just to see how tight it is. No cutting off circulation. Your hands shouldn't start getting cold or turning purple or anything like that. That's definitely way too tight. But you do want it to be snug. If it's loose enough that you can see any kind of a wrinkle or a gap here, then it's not tight enough. A suit like this, waterproof, actually has an inner cuff. A glove would go over the top of this. This suit would go over the glove, and then you can zip it down to tighten it up just a little bit. Hangs onto the glove, okay? Same thing. Around the neck, this particular suit, you can adjust it a couple of ways. With the Velcro on the back, I could have tightened it even more to pull this in, but this also has a zipper. So you can pull it in to stop the water from flushing, or if you're like me and you don't want something around your neck, or you're on the boat or something, you just unzip it, it's a little more comfortable. Also on your ankles, if you'll give me your ankle here, okay? You'll notice this one has zippers, some don't, they just have a cuff. I do the same thing as I do on the wrist. I put my finger underneath the cuff just to make sure it's not too tight, not going to cut off circulation. This one has a cuff like the wrist did. You put the wetsuit over the top of that and you zip it down and it stays nice and snug. Okay? Now, another thing is kind of important, if you'll turn around here. Wetsuits, if they're going to have a loose spot, it's going to be right here in the back, and that's okay. Remember what I told you about if you bend forward, the wetsuit actually tightens up back here and it stops the water from coming through. So that's usually going to have a little bit of a pocket, but I also feel this, it should be, snug. You can feel the tension on it a little bit. And this suit is hugging her very snugly. There aren't going to be cold spots in this suit because there are no wrinkles. There's no places where the suit is baggy. You want to make sure the armpits are not real baggy. Now there's going to be a little bit of a gap there, but it shouldn't be much. On the inside of the elbows, right? On the backs of the knees, you don't want it to be real wrinkly or super loose. Now, it's a little bit of an art form, right? If you have a nice tight cuff, even if you had a little bit of a gap here, okay? If you have a little bit of a gap under the armpit, it's going to be okay because the wrist slows the suit from flushing and the zippers and things like that. Okay, but generally you want it to hug the entire body and you want it to feel snug because that's the way that it keeps you warm. Any kind of a pocket, any kind of a loose spot, the water's going to gather there and it's going to be harder for your body to keep it warm. Okay? Now what we're going to do next is show you what an improper fitting wetsuit looks like. Okay?
We're back. Okay, so what does it look like when a suit doesn't fit
First of all, I'm going to say, if you were wearing these wetsuits right now and they were too big for you, you would love it. They're easy to get on. They're super comfortable. You think they're going to keep you warm, but the minute you start diving, nope, they don't work. You can be stubborn if you want to. I know some people are. I have people all the time that they just, no, this one feels so much better for me. And I'm like, okay, but you're going to freeze. Reason why is, the way a wetsuit really works is it traps a thin layer of water against your body, and your body heats that layer up. If you have loose pockets, your body can't possibly heat up all that water. And if it's loose here, it's going to flush the water, meaning the water's going to come in, come out, come in, come out. And honestly, even if you were in 82-degree water in the Caribbean, 82 degrees, if you were 82 degrees, you'd be dead. Okay, so one dive, no big deal. But you start diving on a trip, you freeze. So really, you want the proper fitting wetsuit. So to demonstrate what's wrong with these suits, they may even look okay a little bit, and they're super comfy, really easy to get on. But you look how we have the wrinkles here. This is excess material. This forms a pocket on the inside, especially when it fills up with water. The wrists, even if they're snug, some are, some aren't, it's still going to allow water if it's too big to come in and out. The neck, it's not even tight at all. If you turn around a little here, you can see the back, it's just totally loose. All this excess material. Under the legs, these big pockets behind the legs. It's like wearing a nice pair of sweats. So yeah, it's comfy, I get it. But in reality, you're going to be like a balloon when you fill up with water and your body can't possibly keep that warm. Armpits, inside of elbows, back side of legs, in your lower back, around your torso, round through the ankles. It just doesn't fit you. So when you get that suit and you try it on at home, remember, you want to be snug almost everywhere. The lower back is the only place where it can be a little bit of a gap back there. Everywhere else, it should be snug. Not overly tight to cut off circulation. But remember, it's going to loosen up in the water just a little bit too. So if you feel uncomfortable, I get it, but it's going to feel so much better when you get it in the water. Okay? So I think it's important to also understand sizing. Oh, I was going to ask you what size you are, but you're not supposed to do that, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, what size are you? That doesn't mean that the suit you buy should be the same exact size. There's European sizing, there's Asian sizing, there's American sizing. It really doesn't matter what the number is. You might hate it because you might be an 8, but in a European size, you might be a 12, or vice versa. You might love it if you're a 12 and you can fit into a European size 8. The thing is, within the brand, they're going to fit the same way around the world. So if you're in Florida, or if you're in Canada, or if you're in Mexico, and you buy a Bear brand 8, it's going to be the same size 8 around the world. But not every manufacturer is the same. So here's my recommendation to you. You need to go to the sizing chart for that manufacturer. You can either find them under their website, or you can find it under ours. When you start taking the measurement in inches or centimeters and you apply that to your body, that's going to be a great fit, okay? I just wanted you to know what to expect once you try the suit on when you get home, so you don't return it and then we go through this back and forth, back and forth. You know, the difference between a new diver and an experienced diver is quite often the tips and the tricks they learn along the way. That's why we share these things with you. We hope that it helped you in some way. And you know, you can help us if you'll just hit that like button down below. And if you can think of anybody else that might benefit from these, why don't you try sharing it? That'll help get the word out. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and we'll let you know when the next one comes out. Have an awesome day.